Hi, I'm Jim Terrell from Quickblade, and I'm here to show you the Quickblade testing lab here. This is one of my favorite areas in the shop. This is where we test all of our paddle blades and handles, and we make sure that the quality of the product is up to our standards. We have been making paddles for a long time. We pride ourselves on making them not only light but very strong. Each one of our paddles at every level on the market, including our entry-level friendly price paddles, we make sure that they're light, the lightest one in its class, and also very strong for the weight. Our race paddles, we pride ourselves on having the lightest paddle on the market at about 16 ounces. And that paddle actually is designed to be very strong because we have some pretty strong guys pulling on them. And we put a lot of energy into making sure that the stuff is designed right. And over a year or 2 years' time, you have to kind of do a little testing and almost underbuild paddles to see where they fail, to know really where to put the reinforcements and the doublers and things like that. So we've been doing it for a long time and figured out a lot of stuff the hard way. And but we like to keep improving, and I'm all about continuous improvement and progress. And with stand-up surf paddles being kind of one of the new products on our line of paddles, we've realized that they take some different types of abuse than like a typical canoe paddle or outrigger paddle. So every paddle we make, we learn over a little bit of time, what to do to make those paddles a little bit more superior, construction-wise, performance-wise, to make them perform a little bit better. So what we have behind me here is my torture rack test stand. We fabricated this to do in-house testing, and it's a pretty simple little fixture, but it's very effective. We use a hydraulic jack to press a load onto both shafts, handles, blades. We can test all three components individually. We can test an entire paddle all at one time to find out where the weak point is. This unit right here is a load sensor. This actually senses the pressure on what the force is being applied, and it sends a reading to this digital monitor up here, which will give us a reading in pounds or kilos, depending on what we're doing. And it's designed with a spreadable rack here, so we can set this thing up for all sorts of different tests that we do in-house. Okay, the first thing we like to do is actually weigh the paddle that we're testing. This is another brand of paddle. We like to do a comparison of tests that we do with Quickblade paddles, as well as test some of the other brands. So this particular paddle weighs 1 pound, 8.5 ounces, which is 24.5 ounces. You can see we're about 80 pounds and climbing. We're about 100 pounds and climbing. You can see the paddle starting to deflect here. We're about 150 pounds. I can hear a little bit of a crackle. Most blades will hold at least this amount. So there we are at 160 pounds. And let's see if we can figure out what failed. I'm guessing that it's the connection between the shaft and the blade itself. Let's take it a little farther. Actually, it's still climbing, so we just had an initial crack. Here. 203 pounds, 220 pounds. I think we might be seeing the shaft fail at this point. 250. So this is a typical failure. It looks like what we have here is a blowout at the neck where the shaft stabs into. It's a female fit into the blade. You'll see on a lot of paddles, this is a shrink wrap tubing that goes around where the junction is. And that's sometimes just to sort of cover over that joint right there. But you can see right about here is where the paddle failed, the connection of the shaft to the blade. You can see a crack right here. So we're going to weigh another paddle here. This paddle is weighing in at 1 pound, 6.7 ounces. So that's 22.7 ounces. Another one here. So seal my jack. Oops. Tighten this up. about 50 pounds and climbing, 80 and climbing. We're at about 100 pounds, about 130 pounds, 150 pounds. Most paddles will make it to at least here. Oh, there we had a failure. Looks like a seam blowout. We'll take it all the way to failure. So you can see it buckling here and it's splitting in the seam here. We'll take it all the way to failure. So this is a shaft that inserts into the blade socket, and you'll see that we had a little bit of failure here, and there's some white material here that looks like it could be fiberglass or a Spectra type glass, a little compression fracture here. But that's a pretty typical break you'll see in most paddles, is that connection from the shaft to the blade. Here we have an all fiberglass paddle. We're almost 2 pounds, so we're about 31 ounces on this paddle. So now we're going to break this paddle, blade, or shaft, whichever comes first. This is a fiberglass paddle. Typically aren't quite as strong, but sometimes they can be. We're about 50 pounds. Holding 80 pounds. 90, about 100. I heard a little slight crack. 110, 120. So 120 pounds for this paddle. And you can see again, this is most likely the shaft comes in here and possibly puts a little bit of a point load at that point there. Okay, we're going to weigh. This is an all carbon Kanaha, and the adjustable version, so it's going to be a little heavier. It's 21 ounces. Okay. £50, 100 pounds. 175 pounds. This is the minimum requirement I like to see on our blades. And we'll keep going. You can see a substantial amount of flex on that paddle. Sort of an even amount of flex. We're at 180, 190, 200 pounds. I have to keep going. We're at 220. So right around 225. And it looks like we had a failure right about here in the blade. So it's good to see that the seam didn't blow or the shaft socket fail in any way. You could probably still get home with it, but you might not win the race with it. Ha ha!